ourselves from the symbols of hatred, the symbols of intolerance, and, my friends, the symbols of death. Thank you.
We are very fortunate to have as our county executive someone at the helm of this county who gives no quarter to any intolerance, who stands up for inclusivity, and whose police department has been on the front lines battling these crimes. I'd like to introduce our great county executive, Laura Curran.
Thank you very much, Senator. And I want to thank you, Assemblyman Lavine, and District Attorney Singas for jumping into action so quickly. And I just want to give you a little bit of context as to why this is so important for our county right here in Nassau. So hate crimes have been going down. I should say had been going down. In 2016, there were 59 reported hate crimes in the county. 2017 went down a little bit to 56. The next year, 18 went down quite a bit to 34. So far, in 2019, we are up 40. We have 44 hate crimes already on the books. This time last year, that number was 20. Clearly, we are not giving our young people the knowledge that they need to not perpetrate these kinds of crimes and spread the fear that they are spreading. So getting into the schools, working with our high school teachers. I know Steve Markowitz does a fantastic job at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center teaching kids, and he's going to speak about this later, about what these hate symbols mean, what they symbolize. So the more that we can do to get into these kids' brains to teach them in our very fractured social media world with crazy information coming at them from all places, to teach them the real history and what these symbols mean and what has happened in real history, I think will make a difference. So I thank you and you and you very much for pushing this forward, and let's get it done up in Albany. Thank you.
When our county executive just mentioned, let's get it done in Albany, that's only going to happen if we have the chairs of the education committees interested and involved. And we're so lucky in the state Senate to have Shelley Mayer as our chair of education, who firmly believes in this bill and what it stands for. She came down from Yonkers. I'd like to introduce Shelley Mayer.
Thank you very much, Senator Kaminsky and Assemblyman Lavine, and my colleagues in government and in the community here in Nassau who have stepped up. This is not a moment for silence. This is a moment when hate crimes show their face, as the county executive just mentioned, and the number of them increases, or we see signs that we have to take every step possible. And from an education standpoint, as chair of the Senate Education Committee, we need to push and make sure that our regions incorporate these issues into the curriculum in an affirmative way. We can't stand back and wait for someone to think it's a good idea or to be blessed with a great teacher. We need to actually say the noose and the swastika have to be part of the conversation so that young people know what these symbols mean. These are powerful symbols. They change the lives of people when they see them, and we must affirmatively take the step to educate. So I'm so pleased that this bill puts these front and center. Now is the time to ensure that every child in New York State knows what these symbols mean and is fully educated on the dangers of even talking or showing them in public, because we have a crisis on our hands. You've stepped up to address it. I look forward to moving this bill next year in the Senate and getting it done so that we actually change lives. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
Senator Mayer said you don't have to have a fantastic teacher in order to learn about this. That's what this bill will do. But we do have a fantastic teacher here with us today, John Buglione, a social studies teacher from Baldwin High School, who's going to discuss the need for this legislation. Oh, excuse me, and who postponed his summer vacation to be here.
Okay, yeah. But my son is here to make sure I'm brief. So he said, on Friday, I've known Senator Kaminsky for a few years. We take students from Baldwin High School up to Albany. The senator buys them pizza, which is very good for the teenage vote. So he texted me and he asked, after these incidents had happened, was there anything specific in the curriculum that mandates that teachers allot time to teaching the history of the symbols, such as the swastika, the noose, maybe other symbols. And I conferred with colleagues, and we said, there are mandates for other, like there's a mandate to teach about the Constitution, there's a mandate to teach about 9/11, but as far as we knew, there's no specific mandate to teach students about the history of these symbols and the way that these symbols have embodied this meaning that we've designated as hate speech. So I'm super proud. I'm astounded at how energetic everyone was, because this conversation happened on Friday and it's Tuesday, but I'm super proud to be a part of this, and I think it'll go a long way in teaching students the meanings and why we as a society have designated things as these symbols as hate speech. So I'd like to thank everybody, and especially the senator and the co-sponsors. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
We're lucky to be in the town of Hempstead, where Laura Gillen has also led a strong fight against acts of intolerance, and we're lucky to have her here today.
Good morning, everyone. I have prepared remarks, but really a lot of what I was going to say has already been said. I applaud our District Attorney Singas, Madeline Singas, for her leadership in spearheading this issue. I thank Senator Kaminsky and Assemblyman Lavine for taking up the charge in Albany. This is such an important issue. We've seen an uptick, as the county executive said, in hate crimes, not just here within the county of Nassau, but across our country. And it's incredibly important that young people understand the deep-seated hatred and fear that these symbols inspire in other people, and they understand the gravity of putting forward these kinds of symbols. So I think that this is incredibly important. When you change young minds, you can change the world. So thank you. I look forward to seeing this legislation pass in Albany.
Thank you. A partner of mine at Albany, Senator Anna Kaplan, who is a staunch fighter on behalf of her community, but also more importantly for a tolerant New York, and she's going to work hard to get this bill passed as well. Senator Anna Kaplan.
Thank you. Last week, a sick person with a hate-filled heart went to our park and tried to intimidate us using these disgusting symbols of anti-Semitism and white supremacy. Today, we all gather here united to say that we reject hatred and also anti-Semitism, that our community has no room for these hates, and that we're not just going to sit back and allow hatred to take root. When I heard what happened last week, I immediately reached out to Governor Cuomo to ask for the state police assistance in investigating these disgusting crimes and lending a support to our local law enforcement. Our governor has always stood up against acts of hatred like this, and I'm grateful for his ongoing effort to keep hate out of our state. And now, Senator Kaminsky and Assemblyman Chuck Lavine have introduced a great bill that I'm proud to be a co-sponsor, that's going to ensure that the next generation understands the meaning of these symbols of hatred, that they understand the devastation of Holocaust and the role of anti-Semitism in provoking violence against Jewish people around the world. These actions were taken are important to fight the disease of racism in our society. But the most important thing is that we all stand together and proclaim loudly with one voice that every opportunity we have to send a message that we will never give hatred home in state of New York. Thank you.
If we all said nothing today but stood here as an act of defiance against hatred, it would be meaningful enough. And I can't tell you how honored I am to have Tracy Edwards here, the regional director of the NAACP, to stand with us in support of this legislation. Tracy?
Thank you very much, and we want to thank Senator Kaminsky, Assemblyman Lavine, and District Attorney Singas for their leadership. I will tell you that the county executive is absolutely correct. Hate crimes have gone up, and that is only the category of hate crimes. And what I mean by that is there are many other incidents that happen across our state that may not be designated as a hate crime, but is still hateful language, it's hateful speech, it's hateful symbols, it's hateful actions. So what this bill is a wonderful thing, because I am proud to stand here with our NAACP New York State Education Chair. I'm also grateful to be here with our NAACP Civic Engagement Chair, and also the presidents of both Lakeview and Westbury. So that's Christine Waters, H. Scotty Codes, Doris Hicks, and Leslie Davis, on behalf of our New York State President, Hazel Dukes. We happen to have 3 teachers amongst us. So like the teacher said, they are wonderful assets that can help combat what's going on today. And it's a lot. Every grade level should have the opportunity to learn about different cultures, tolerance, language, symbols of hate. Our teachers have the best opportunity to partner with parents to teach awareness and diversity. New York State has 0 tolerance for this type of action. This bill will go a long way, because today we are teaching our children after the fact, after the infraction. They are going to centers, they are going to teachers, they are talking to their parents about the actions that they have already taken. What this does, it puts it in the forefront, it is proactive, it is inclusive, and I want to end by again thanking Senator Todd Kaminsky, Assemblyman Chuck Lavine, and our DA Singas, and all of you for being here to champion this very important and critical time in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Scotty. We're happy to be joined by the Jewish Community Relations Council, which has really spearheaded efforts for unity across Nassau County. So I'd like to ask Adam Novak, who is their chair, and also the star of the 1994 Long Beach High School tennis team, to please come up here.
I'm glad you put that in there, because I got something about you in here, too. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam Novak. I am the chairman of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Long Island, and along with our executive director, Mindy Perlmutter, I'd like to thank the New York State Senator Todd Kaminsky, Nassau County District Attorney Madeline Singas, and New York Assemblyman Chuck Lavine for arranging this morning's press conference, and to all our government officials for the work that they do to fight hate and bigotry throughout the county. 2 of JCRC's primary goals are building relationships and connecting communities. Thus, when we see any form of hate symbols, it goes against all of which we work for. I am proud to say I knew Senator Kaminsky when, and I'm even prouder to say that Senator Kaminsky listens and acts to protect his constituents. I've long been a proponent of education as a way of combating the rise of anti-Semitic and hate-filled incidents. We, as a community, must work together to stop the hate, and we must start by teaching why the use of certain symbols are so dangerous. The JCRC of Long Island believe that schools must be a part of this education. It is imperative to teach our students about the meaning of these horrible symbols and the message that they communicate. Additionally, school leaders must take vigorous, proactive measures to counter prejudice and to promote equality and inclusiveness. They must act swiftly and decisively to address all incidents of hate and bias when they happen. The JCRC calls upon all Long Islanders, including our community leaders, public officials, and school personnel, to work with us and to speak out forcefully and denounce hate in all of its manifestations. Thank you.
We're lucky to be joined by our own Assemblywoman from this district, Judy Griffin, who's going to fight hard for this bill's passage in Albany this year.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Recently, as we have all been discussing, there's been an uptick in hate in our communities. Swastikas are a symbol of intolerance